A good day to one and all. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming back to yet another episode of Sometimes the Old Man is Right. As usual, I am your host, Lamont Ferguson, playing the role of the old man. There's a lot of excitement. Can you feel it? Can you feel it's palpable? Because I am no longer the old man at sea. It's the old man at home. El viejo está en mi casa. I believe that's correct. That's 377-day streak of Duolingo paying off, kinda. Also a weird shout out tribute to Mexican Independence Day. How about that? This is episode 34 of the big podcast. I don't have any athletes' numbers to give you for 34s. I'm sure there are some famous athletes for 34. There's just none that come to the top of my head that I can give you a whole backstory as to what the number 34. I just know that it's episode 34 and we are trudging along. That's what we are doing on the podcast. As I said, it was given a little shout out to the Mexican Independence Day. You know, America's odd because America really is the only, well, I haven't lived in other countries, but I'm pretty sure and pretty safe to say America is the only country where you get to celebrate every country's Independence Day. Like you can go out and just celebrate any country's Independence Day, and America will, in the media, if it's given enough notice to them, they'll remind you. So yesterday, which was the 16th, September 16th, which is Mexican Independence Day, not to be confused, because a lot of people believe that Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day, and it's not. It's not at all. You should do some reading. Cinco de Mayo is the celebration of a war victory, of a single war victory. But Mexican Independence Day is in September. Americans don't care because whatever it is, it's just another reason to drink. You know, hey, we can have a party. We can get drunk. Cinco de Mayo, that's Mexican Independence Day. You go to a bar next time and ask them what they're celebrating. And they'll tell you, like 90% of them will tell you it's Mexican Independence Day. Because, again, America. Folks, it is good to be home. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's nice. With the exception of the 4 or 5 days of oppressive heat that had to be dealt with. And it was a long string of it. I don't know how anybody in California dealt with this, because 4 days, I was out of my mind. I was angry at everything. Angry at elements, angry at the sun's distance, angry at the calendar, angry at everything, because it was blistering hot in Long Beach when I got back off the ship and flew from Seattle back to LAX, which, oh my goodness, don't even get me started on this LAX. Here, before I get started on the ranting of this show, let me first start by saying, how are you? I hope you're well. What's up, partner? What's the good word? I appreciate all of you tuning in and hanging out. We got a lot of things to cover and a short time to get there. Watch old bandit run. I believe those are the lyrics. Something. Paraphrased lyrics to Smokey and the Bandit. So I get home and I fly into LAX, which I don't know if I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It's a horrific excuse of an airport. Everyone associated with LAX should be fired. Everyone in the decision-making, planning of that airport should be fired. It is a veritable cornucopia of incompetence, is what that airport is. The cruise line flies me Alaska direct, Seattle to LAX. I get off in Terminal 6. I get off the plane, I go to the restroom, and then I follow the signs, every sign that says baggage claim. And I ended up in Terminal 4 for American Airlines. Yeah. 2 terminals away. Following the signs. I was livid, and it was sweltering hot. The idea that LAX is like, we're going through this, we're improving the airport, we're going to weave you underground through tunnels and stuff like that. Shut this goddamn airport down until you are finished. Because there's no reason for it to be open right now. None. It is a shit show of an airport. Absolute. First of all, how did it sneak up on you? You've been the second largest city in America for I don't know how long. So how did we just continually kick the can down the road of the airport needs improvement, the airport needs improvement, oh, we'll let somebody else deal with it? Shut it down. Shut it down. You know what? If you shut it down, everyone would figure out other ways to get into LA. There's other airports, and sure, they'd be a little overwhelmed, but people would figure it out. This is ridiculous. 2 terminals away, following the signs. I finally get up to the Alaska baggage. Of course, I'm so late. My baggage is in the office now. And I get there, and I'm drenched, dripping in sweat. The girl goes, "Gil, can we help you?" I said, "Yeah, these are my bags right here." And she goes, "We're going to need ID." I go, "That's fine." And then I'd say, now, here's the thing about me. When I get angry, I know whose fault it is, or I know who to direct my anger towards. It's not take it out on anybody that is an employee, which is what the problem is. People start taking their anger out on anybody that is an employee of that particular company, and it's not their problem. They didn't cause the problem. They are just going along with the incompetence that was passed down to them from management, that was passed down to them from executives. So yelling at those people does nothing. All you're really doing is making their day shitty, and their day was shitty to begin with. It really was, because they had to deal with people. So I don't, when I get a little angry and a little upset, I'm not going to take it out on the people who I know it's not their fault. So I just calmly said, I followed all the baggage claim signs and ended up in American Airlines. And the girls then said, she apologized, or no, she didn't apologize. She just looked at me and said, those baggage claim signs are just wrong. Like, she had the same amount of frustration in her response as I did in my experience. And she's an employee. She said, they're wrong. She goes, I get lost because they're confusing. And I said, I know. And then she offered me a cart. So she did everything she could to, hey, look, I can't do anything about the airport, but I can help from this moment on, which is exactly what you're supposed to do in customer service. Look, I can't help what I can't control, but I can help try to make it better from this point forward. That's perfect. That's all you ask. That's all anybody wants. And if people had any sense, which there's lies the problem, they don't, they would realize me yelling at this attendant or this clerk or this whomever is not going to get me anywhere. They're having a bad day because they've had to deal. I'm not the first idiot they've had to deal with. First of all, maybe you should do that. You need to realize that you're an idiot. Maybe that's where we need to start. Start with the fact of the self-awareness that you are an idiot, and then go from there and realize that that person you're yelling at, you're not the first idiot they had to deal with. They're dealing with a whole bunch of idiots. But this LAX, shut it down, people. What are we doing? It is, It's a monster of an airport. Do you understand what I say when I say that? Like an evil entity monster that lives under the bed of an airport. That's what LAX is. I usually fly into John Wayne because that is a beauty of an airport. It's beautiful. It's a well-kept secret. I've never seen a ton of traffic there. Everything works correctly. You're in, you're out, be done. The problem is it's a little inconvenient with the amount of flights that go in and out. So you would most likely have to take a connection, and the flights are limited as to when they fly there. So if I just want to get home, which I did just want to be at home, I told Holland America, look, okay, fly me into LA because I know that that'll be the most direct flights. And I knew I was going to have to deal with nonsense. I just didn't know I'd have to spend an hour trying to find my luggage because no one had the idea of, hey, how about we put up baggage claim signs that are a little bit more correct? Here's the problem. They are doing construction on the airport, and they left every single baggage claim sign as is. They didn't put a new one up. No one in management said, maybe we should put a new baggage claim sign up that lets people know where this baggage claim is. Nope. They left all original signs up. That's the problem. So you yelling at that desk clerk? No. Find a manager. Find a manager and say, hey, stupid, this makes no sense to you? And if they go, that's something, I go, then give me your boss because I can yell at your boss. Because one of you or a slew of you somewhere are functioning idiots. That's what's happening. Well, as you can tell, it didn't take long for me to get a little fired up, even off the plane, and back after 10 weeks to get a little riled up. But I'm back in full cranky form. Here is I'm going to give the explanation because there's going to be 2 episodes put up at once. Now, you already will know this, but now here's the explanation. I had recorded an episode for the podcast while I was on the ship on the Friday, prior to leaving the ship. The second I got done with that podcast, a whole bunch of craziness took place. So I held off on posting it because I thought, well, now it seems a little dated, even though it was done literally 15 minutes before a whole bunch of news came down. And so I decided, well, maybe I'll just do it again. I'll just redo the podcast. And then I didn't because I got caught up in packing and getting ready to leave the ship and doing 800 shows. And so I never got around to redoing that episode. So I thought, all right, well, now I'll just do a new episode with whatever the new content is, whatever the new things that have got me fired up. And then I'll just put up the old episode at the same time. So that is why there are 2 episodes being posted at the same time that were not recorded at the same time. But yeah, after I put that up, after I got everything recorded and everything edited and everything ready to go, the announcement that Queen Elizabeth had died and the announcement that Major League Baseball is no longer in the business of being baseball. So those 2 things took place within 15 minutes of me finishing the podcast. So those will be some of the topics. Now, I don't really have much to say about Queen Elizabeth. She seemed like I was going to say a nice old, but I don't know. I mean, don't most old people seem like nice old people? Like either you know an old person and you go, oh, that guy's a jerk. He's just a bitter old man. Or you don't know them and you go, oh, they seem like a nice old person. Like that's where I sit with Queen Elizabeth. I get the whole longevity thing because, people are like, oh, well, this is the only queen that we've ever had in our life. Well, first of all, you live in America. She's not your queen. We went to war to not have this. We went to war to not have a monarchy. I don't know if you realize what the whole Revolutionary War was about, but it was about that. Wanting freedom from a monarchy in England. So I still don't understand this fascination that America has. Let's say America specifically. I don't understand the fascination that America has with the monarchy in Great Britain. I don't get that, because you obviously don't know history. And the media loves it because people will watch. Oh my goodness, the princess is getting married, and every channel is covering the princess getting married. There got to be ghosts of soldiers from the Revolutionary War that can peer down and go, what are they doing? I died so that we would not have to give a damn about those people. And now these idiots are tuned in to watch, recording it, can't get enough of it. So I don't understand. I don't get it at all. But a good race run, I guess. It all depends on who you talk to, because, the British Empire, it was an empire at one point in time. They did a lot of stuff that wasn't too great for some people. Ask India. Ask them how they feel about the royal family and the monarchy and the empire of Great Britain. So, I doff my cap. She ran a good race. She did some good things. She was a good representation for women, I believe. So, shout out to Queen Elizabeth, who, by the way, as of this recording, still not buried. I was on the ship. She died. I've been off the ship. She's still touring the world. That's what it is. She was in Scotland. She's still above ground. Aretha Franklin's like, lady, get in the ground. Because Aretha, remember how long Aretha's funeral was? Good grief. But, kudos to Queen Elizabeth. As I said, I am back. We're all back to normal. I get to do the walk of Olivia to school. You know how that brings me joy, because that is normalcy in life, to be able to walk Olivia to school. I got off the plane, came home, had some dinner, went to sleep. Boom. Next day, right back into the routine of getting up and walking Olivia to school. So that was very nice. She's in the 3rd grade now. Not sure what happens in the 3rd grade. I remember the 3rd grade. Who did I have for the 3rd grade? 2nd grade was Miss Diamond. No. 2nd grade was Miss Stephan. 3rd grade was Miss Diamond. Miss Diamond was an old lady at Louisa May Elementary School, Louisa May Alcott Elementary School in Pomona, California. She was one of those old teachers that I don't know if you were ever young. Like, she was old when I was a kid, so you could not imagine that she was ever young. I was convinced she was there before they built the school. That's how old she was. And she was very intimidating because she was very stern and very strict, but a great teacher. I never had any issue with her. I was never afraid of her. But she was someone, as far as you being a kid, you could be afraid of her because she just seemed like she was very mean. But she was one of my favorite teachers. And yeah, I didn't have any issue with her being mean to me. But that was the whole vibe you would get from Miss Diamond. And mainly because she was old. It's, when you're 9 as a kid, and there's someone who's, I don't even know how old she was. She had white hair and she looked old. So she could have been old. You don't even know. But everyone was afraid of her. But that's what I remember in 3rd grade. I don't remember exactly where we were learning. I asked Olivia, I said, so what are you doing? She goes, oh, we're learning rounding up numbers from to the nearest 10. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I guess that's what you do in the third grade. Fine. I said, what are you doing at recess? What do you guys play at recess? And she says, we don't really play anything. We just kind of walk around and talk. And I was like, oh no, she's one of those kids. One of the group of girls that walk around and talk. I'm like, oh no, I got to do a mean girl intervention. She's on the path to being a mean girl. That was my big fear. That, oh no, I'm raising a mean girl. Because isn't that what the mean girls did? Like, they couldn't participate in any sports and play. They just walked around and talked. Pack of mean girls just talking about, even though Olivia said she just talks about what they did during summer. Still, that whole idea that you're walking around and talking, that's mean girl training as far as I believe. So, get back to collecting rocks. Never thought I'd say that. She needs to get back to collecting rocks. But all is well. Olivia's got a birthday coming up at the end of the month. Looks like the choice is Disneyland. So stay tuned to see how that works out. The other things, what else is happening? Oh my goodness. Look, folks, oh my goodness. I am so deep into this pickleball thing. Because, on the ship, all I did was look forward to the days where we were able to play pickleball in the morning. And a lot of times you were fighting the elements. I've said this just recently on the previous podcast. You're fighting the elements of whether it's wind or it's rain. But those are the two things that you're fighting. Plus the combination of do you have enough people that actually can play the game that are going to be there? Well, at home, 4 days a week, at least in the place that I go to, which is in Lakewood, there's a court, and you'll go. And you don't really have to worry about rain, even though we should, because, I'm now one of those people. We could use the rain. There's always that person. But we could use the rain. But I don't see rain coming for a while in 90-degree weather. But 4 days a week, there'll be people out there and you can play. So you don't have to worry about that. The weather being the elements of it. But I couldn't wait. Got back on Sunday. Games start on Tuesday. Tuesday night, I was back out on that court. Ready to go. Ready to show off my 10 weeks of training of pickleball improvement. Where does my game stand now against these people that I played with 10 weeks ago that I just discovered? So I was very eager. So I played all 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I got to say, that improvement has shown. It's shown to the point where people notice. I don't even know if any of them were, because I wasn't there that long. I was there maybe a week or 2 weeks. I don't even know if they remember me or where my level of play was. But they recognize now when I show up. Like, I'm not saying I'm dominating or anything out there, but I can hang with everyone out there. I'm still on the point where I'm still coming up. There's that group of 4 or 5 players that are much better than the rest of the field. And I went and tested my abilities against those players, and I lost. I've lost 3 or 4 matches. But they've been close. And it hasn't been a point where, like I said, where people are like, maybe you shouldn't play over here. Maybe you should play with these people, the rest of those people there. So it's getting there. I'm a-coming. But I'm deep into this pickleball thing. I said I'm going to be the Joe Rogan of pickleball. What Joe Rogan is to MMA, I'm going to be to pickleball. I started watching it on YouTube. They've got a live tournament going on this weekend for the pros in Georgia. And I've been watching a lot, learning a lot by watching, not learning by listening to these broadcasters. This is another reason why they need me. Good Lord, these broadcasters are not great. Because here's the problem, I think, with broadcasting. And granted, as I told you, I grew up with the great Vin Scully and the great Chick Hearn. Vin Scully and Chick Hearn were the two of the best of play-by-play broadcasters ever to be behind the mic. And the reason why is that they broadcast to people who don't know the game. That's their approach. I'm going to broadcast to people who don't know the game. The problem is too many broadcasters are broadcasting to people that do know the game. And you're not teaching, and you're not helping new people come into the game. Now, I'm sitting there watching, and yeah, these guys are giving all the terms of what goes on in the game. Like, well, you act like you've been around for 100 years. You see all the news stories. Pickleball's the fastest growing sport in America, blah, 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 blah. Well, if it's fastest growing, help people to learn more about the game while you're doing the broadcast. So they need me. They need me to help. I'm not play-by-play. I'm not that confident in my skill set of broadcasting a pickleball tournament that I could do play-by-play, but I'd be pretty helpful in color. Very helpful in color commentary. So that's the goal. I've got some, I put together a little video I threw up about me going to go play on Friday, calling out the PPA, which is the Professional Pickleball Association, I believe that was, or MLP, Major League Pickleball. You need me. I'm coming. But I'm in. I'm all in, man. I can't wait. I know there's a wall coming too, because there was a wall prior to this. I think I said this too, where you feel like you're getting better, and then all of a sudden you're still making the same dumb amateur mistakes. Well, somehow I got past that wall, and I'm not making as many of those mistakes, and the game has kind of slowed down for me. So once the game slows down, you can start moving forward to learning more things. So hopefully that'll last for a bit of time, because it can be, I can see how it could be a little bit frustrating. So that's your pickleball news. That's your pickleball madness. Why don't we keep it right here on sports? Because you know my other thing, Major League Baseball. Good Lord. Major League. So they passed a whole list of new rules that'll go into effect in 2023 that will make the game, as far as I'm concerned, no longer baseball. I don't know what it is, but it won't be baseball. Will be a clock now, a pitch clock in baseball. So the batter or the pitchers have a certain allotment of time to throw a pitch. Otherwise, that pitch will be deemed as a ball. The batter has a certain amount of time where they have to be in the box. Otherwise, that non-pitch will be deemed as a strike. There will be larger bases. They said to encourage base stealing, which was odd because we had base stealing when we didn't have larger bases. There was just more emphasis on stealing bases, and it was fine. You know, Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, 100 bases in a season stolen. Then all of a sudden it went away. Nobody was like, oh, well, it's because the bases are too small. No, it's because analytics came in. And every focus was on this dumb, nerdy dweebs sitting around that couldn't hit a baseball if you put it on a tee that said, you know what? According to the numbers, you either strike out or you hit a home run, and that's the best approach to baseball. Swing as hard as you can and hope that the ball connects so you can hit a home run or you strike out. But that's all we've got for you. And every executive in the front office went, that's what we're going with. And that's what baseball's become. Guys strike out for who knows how many times. Used to be a big deal. A guy struck out 100 times. Like, oh, man, that's dangerous having him in the lineup because he can strike out 100 times. Now, nobody cares. Strike out 100 times, strike out 150 times. Still consider you to be the best in the game. It's ridiculous. I've already told you my thoughts on Mike Trout. I know he's a good ball player, but still strikes out too much. So, also the other thing in baseball, they got rid of the shift. So you no longer can, so you have players have to have their feet on the dirt. The infielders have to have their feet on the dirt. They can only be 2 on each side. So just a regular setup for the infield, and you can't move them over. I was against the shift to begin with, but it wasn't the point of the shift. It was like teach the batters to hit the ball where the fielders aren't. You know, there was a whole ball player. His name is Wee Willie Keeler from the 1800s. His whole motto was hit them where they ain't. That's what he said. But hey, Willie, how do you get so many hits? I hit them where they ain't. What happened to that? Now, because of analytics, they're just, look, I'm just going to hit the ball where I hit the ball. If somebody's there, that's just how it's going to be. All right, well, that's now what baseball is. So I'll tune in the beginning to see what this abomination of baseball that this jackass commissioner has allowed. Rod Carew wrote a letter, or I think confronted the commissioner saying, you're ruining the game. I think maybe you want to listen to Rod Carew. I think you want to listen to the dude who hit 388 in a season, a dude who hit 350 for his lifetime, I believe is what it is, or at least 330. Maybe listen to that guy that knows something about baseball instead of the person that wants to keep making the game more appealing to dumbasses that don't care about baseball in the first place. Why don't we put a little jumping castle in the middle of the center field and let them hit the ball there, then they get an automatic double. This is not baseball, crying out loud. Get the old man sign going, because that's definitely old man thinking. But I still don't care because I'm right. Whatever. The Dodgers are a juggernaut, by the way. If the Dodgers don't win the World Series this year, Dave Roberts needs to not have a job. I understand a little while ago that when the Dodgers were favored and then it turned out the Houston Astros were stealing signs, but Dave Roberts still made some dumb decisions in that World Series. And you won the title and people kind of forget it. Hey, he won the World Series in 2020. You remember that 2020 was that weird pandemic season, right? Where they played in front of nobody at weird stadiums. Win a regular World Series, and then maybe all will be forgotten and forgiven. But this is the Frank Vogel thing. Frank Vogel won the title for the Lakers in the bubble during the pandemic. And then when the regular things took place, it turns out Frank Vogel wasn't that great of a coach. And Frank Vogel's out of a job. Dave Roberts will face the same thing. The Dodgers are a juggernaut. They're a machine. Whoever's in front of them, well, is that who our opponent is? All right, we're just going to beat them. And if they don't win this World Series going away this year, then Dave Roberts has got to be out of a job. Because it'll be the last season I care about baseball. Because then it'll be something else. Pony rides. Is that what else we're going to do? Get a runner on first base and let him ride a little Shetland pony to second base? That'll help encourage stolen bases. Let's do that. Dummies. All right, so that is your sports news. We covered your baseball and pickleball. That's all that's happening right now. I guess football started up this season. Football season just started up, but it's just a week old, so there's not much to be said on that. And you know me, I like football, but it's not my number one sport. In the news, I only have a couple of more things, and then we're all wrapped up here. In the news is more nonsense, as usual. More nonsense. They should call it nonsense, not news. Is this Little Mermaid controversy, which is not really a controversy. because once again, it's the hype of the media to say, hey, look, there's this group of people that are upset about stuff. Here's the problem. There's as I said, there's a middle ground, because the conservative side, I guess it falls along. I don't even know if it's conservative side. Let's just say this. There's a group of people that believe that racism and everything is all hyped up out of control and it's not as bad as they say. But they lean towards the fact that it doesn't exist at all. So they're wrong. Then there's the other side that just acts like everything is out of control, and they're both wrong. So both sides are wrong. It's somewhere in the middle is what it is. It does exist, and it's still problematic. It's better than it used to be. That's the best way for me to say it, is that it's somewhere in the middle. So these people that are upset that Ariel is being cast as a black girl is playing Ariel, and then people are being mad about it because the media goes, look, there's people being outraged by it. Again, this is what I say. I don't know how many of these are real people, because like I said in the last episode, there's that whole troll farm with this dumb internet that their job is just to make people upset. That's what their objective is. Whatever you say, I'm going to be the contrarian to that because it's going to trigger you and make you mad and cause this type of problem. Now, there are people out there that are real, and they're dumb. Good Lord. I keep seeing these videos of Jordan Klepper that goes to Trump rallies. And I like told you before in a couple episodes prior, where these people are so dumb. How do you survive? How is it possible that you're busy in front of a camera saying, I think Barack Obama did not do enough for 9/11 because he was too busy golfing. And none of your friends said, hey, stupid, Barack Obama was not president during 9/11. Quit talking. What job do you have that lets you go to your work? Someone trusted you with some responsibility when that is the thought that you have in your head. So there are a lot of stupid people out there. Good Lord, a lot of them walking around they operate a vehicle, for crying out loud, which tells you a lot that apparently it must not take a lot to operate a car. It's just motor reflexive skills and muscle memory really is all it is, because these people are out there. And these people that are like, oh, you've ruined my childhood because you made Ariel black. And, but again, it's not a lot of people. I saw someone put up a group that said Christians against whatever, Ariel being black or something, or Little Mermaid. And you look carefully at it's a Facebook group, 8 members. Now, the idea that you would post something and go, look at this group, and go, wait a minute, is that really a group? It's 8 people. They have 8 members. Don't give them oxygen. Don't even be upset. I can't be upset over 8 people, because I know there's more than 8 people out there that are racist. But if only 8 of them joined a group, I'm like, yeah, that seems about right. That seems about what it should be. I know that racists are out there. I know that it upsets people. The fact that I think it's the point that they are actually vocal about it is the problem now. But if you're running around thinking that it's never, this doesn't exist or it's ever going to go away, then you're also part of the problem. It's never going to go away. Never, ever going to go away. Because oh my goodness, what episode was that? I got to pay attention to the episodes. I told you. One generation teaches another generation that teaches another generation, and that's how it works. That's how it works. It will go on forever. I don't even know how long. Maybe until one of those generations breaks the chain and says, okay, maybe my grandfather was a moron, and when he's looking at other people of other races, that's probably not right. And then you teach those children, and then that's how you change it. But it's not, we got too many. Barack Obama was the problem. He was going golfing. Why can't we just punch that guy? Who would miss the stupid dude? No one. No one would miss the stupid dude. Now, granted, we got to keep a handful of stupid people around so that we know how to measure. But in general, no one would miss the stupid person. Or can I go talk to their family and go, what do you love about this adorable idiot? You know they're an idiot, right? You know nothing out of their head is worthy. What do I say? What do I say all the time? Pray every night that I never get to be in charge. Ever. I think I even talked. You pray that your family's taken care of. You pray that your country, your land is protected, and pray every single night that I never get to be in charge of the planet. Because oh my goodness, you don't even know what type of justice would be rained down. Stupid people. You'd be shaking in your boots, which would be on your hands because you're idiots. Anyway. You know what? Speaking of race thing, let me talk about this thing before I wrap up this nonsense. You remember when many times I talk about race and I say that time travel is not possible for minorities. So the show Quantum Leap is being rebooted. Which, I'm big on time travel and I'm big on sci-fi. So anything to do with time travel and sci-fi, which are the same, they go hand in hand. I'm big on that. Now, I never watched Quantum Leap when it was around the first time. I know a lot of friends that watched it religiously and were really into it. And I wasn't. There had to be something else that was on at the time or something about the show that just did not appeal to me. I don't know what it was. But they're rebooting it. So NBC is bringing that show back. Now, here's what they've done. They've done something really interesting. They've cast an Asian actor as the lead, which is great. Fantastic for diversity. Horrible for historical accuracy. This is what I'm saying. I don't know what world we're going to live in. I don't know if we're going to live in the world where we believe that it's okay, or can we just live in the honest world? Because you can't have a foot in both worlds. I guess the correction for Quantum Leap is that show, he time travels, but he's then put as the consciousness into another person. So he doesn't show up as himself. He shows up in other people, which is good because that helps take care of that historical problem, because then he always has to jump into, well, no, I don't say he always has to jump into a white person, because he can jump into any other minority, except that they have to be treated how they're supposed to be treated during that historical times. The show Timeless, which was also an NBC show, they addressed it perfectly, because Malcolm Barrett, who is an actor who's been in that, and he's been in a few other things, he's a very good actor. He played a black character who immediately identified and addressed the idea. This goes, hey, if we're going back in history, there are places I can't go, right? I'm going to just pop into history during this time and just be walking around. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. So then he had to be something else. So I'm curious as to how NBC is going to handle this, how the showrunner is going to handle this. Is he going to jump into an Asian person? Is he going to jump into a black person? And when the time frame is going to be? I get the idea of inclusion and making that character, but that's the loophole they found, is that you get to jump into other people, not that he gets to time travel as himself, because guess what? He couldn't. There'd be a point where he time traveled and they're like, oh, he didn't come back. What happened? I don't know. He got put into a camp somewhere. He ended up working somewhere else. They made him into an indentured servant somewhere. So we got a historical thing. You got the one side that just wants to whitewash everything in history and say, no, everything was great. We just won't talk about it. And then you have the other side that says, hey, by the way, that's a lie. So somewhere in the middle is where we got to find this ground to be able to figure out what's going on. I don't got all the answers. I got some answers. And I know stupid people are part of the solution. And I don't mean that they are part of, I mean, the eradication of stupid people is part of the solution. I got to look and find out if there was a point in time. I told about this in the previous episode, I believe, that whole glorification of stupidity. I wonder, there had to be a trigger. There had to be a point in time in America where we went, no more smart. Maybe that was it, when they started putting sentences together that said no more smart. No more. We don't want this anymore. We like stupid. But something happened. I don't know what happened, but something did, and now here we are. All right. Said it was a quick episode. I will sit around here and wait for the weather to change. It cooled down the past couple of days, and then I looked at the old weatherometer. I don't know if that's a word. I'm going to make it a word. You know what? I'm done. I'm done fighting. I'm going to just make up my own words and say, you know what I mean. Because that's how we function now. And see how life is as stupid. I wonder if it's greater. It's probably better. If you're wandering around thinking that Michelle Obama is a man. By the way, that's another thing that I actually heard a human being say. A person that said, oh, I think Michelle Obama's a man because I've seen certain angles where there's a bulge. And they walk around and they thought that, yep, I'm good with that. That thought made sense. I'm perfectly fine. But if you're around in that and you think that is the case, then I don't know. Maybe it's a more blissful life. Could be. I don't know. But as I said, so these are the appearances that are coming up. As usual, I thank all of you for tuning in to, as I say regularly, whatever this nonsense is that spills out of my head. I greatly appreciate you. Now that I'm home, we'll see how regular this can be. I don't know. We'll just see. Maybe it'll be more regular because I'll just give pickleball updates. This might just become the pickleball podcast. That's what it just might be. With all the pickleball factoids and things that take place in all things pickleball. All things Lamont Ferguson can be found at lamontferguson.com. Again, I know the website is trash. I'm working on it. Next Friday, I will be appearing at the Stand-Up Comedy Club in Bellflower. That is a new comedy club that I have not been to, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my last, or maybe one of my final chances to get tuned up before doing the Edmonton Comedy Festival at the end of this month. So those are two things on your calendar. If you're in that area, swing on by. Check the website. See what's doing. And after that, just more time of hanging out. Walking to school with Olivia. And hearing tales of whatever it is that she talks about. You can email the show at oldmanisright@gmail.com. That is the correct email address, by the way, because now that I'm at home, I can actually have access to the email and figure out what the right email address is. I don't know why it does not happen on the laptop, but it doesn't come through on the laptop. They're both Gmails. I'm going to the server. They're not separate things, but I know for a fact that is the correct email address. oldmanisright@gmail.com. Send your thoughts, comments, whatever it is. And I believe that is it. I talked about a lot of things. I was a little fired up, fired up about LAX, fired up about baseball. Good grief, I'll never not be fired up about baseball now that it's become whatever it is. Mermaid nonsense. I don't know if I was right. I could have been right about some of the things. I could be wrong about a lot of the things. That's what happens with old people, We just say things, and then everyone else is left to deal with them. I could be wrong, but you know the deal. Sometimes the old man is right. I'll see you next time.